So things do not happen, things are made to happen. This is a quote by John F. Kennedy. Pretty amazing president. For all of you newer generation people may not know a whole lot about it, but he was the first, kind of pushed us to put a man on the moon, which is may not seem like much now, but at the time was this unbelievable feat. My name is Coach Bobby Brown, and I am with Sober Life Right. What I do is I help others live their most amazing lives free from drugs and alcohol. I am a man in long-term recovery. What that means for me is that today I am living a pretty amazing life by my standards. And I've been doing that free from drugs and alcohol since July 22nd, 2021. I'm going through the book, one of my top 5 favorite books of all time, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. This is kind of an encyclopedia of things that I've seen in tons of other books, bits and pieces, but kind of all put together in one place in a really good format that I like the chronology of it, how it, I think that's how you say that word, chronological. I love the way that it builds things over time. And it goes through, we're today on principle number 7, which is all about goal setting. All right. So let's catch up. If this is the first video you've seen, kind of like touch bases on like what's built up, what's had to happen before we start setting goals. Okay. First off, we have to accept responsibility for our life that, okay, hey, look, what happens to you, you're 100% responsible for. You have all these outside circumstances, but whatever happens to you, you have control over how you react to it. Once you've accepted that you've got responsibility, now you believe that you can make a change in outcomes, you have to start with, okay, well, what kind of outcomes do I want? You have to start with a why. Talk a little bit about purpose and why are we here? What do you really want? What do you want life to look like? And then once you've got your purpose, your why, then you've got to, what is it you want life to look like? You have to sit down, you have to spend time to get a clear vision. Like I said, I like to coach people to have their most amazing lives free from drugs and alcohol, but what's amazing for me may not be amazing for you. There's a lot of people that absolutely hate my life. They look at it and say, man, there is no way I'm doing that. And that's okay. Like coaching is not about me trying to turn you into me. It's about me trying to help you figure out who you want to be and then put a plan in place to get there and get you the right resources, help you be accountable, help you apply all these principles that I've got that can work no matter what your vision of an amazing life looks like. So we've got this vision. We've got this vision of what an amazing life looks like in our case, and then we've got to start working on belief systems. We got to believe it's possible. We got to believe anything is possible. So we talked a little bit about that, and then you've got to believe in yourself. Like, are you capable? If you have a mindset that like, well, I can't. Well, you won't. Like that's just how it goes. Then we got into some new age stuff. We got into some law of attraction. This is a universal law that, what we put out is what we're going to bring in. And so we had to take a look at some of the things that we've got to avoid for law of attraction to make sure that we're not repelling the success, this amazing life we want. Talked a little bit about frequencies. Talked about the things that we can be in control of, our own behavior, our own thoughts, our own actions. And how important it is to do that at a conscious level. Otherwise, your subconscious just run based off of, you're gonna keep doing the same things that you've done in the past if you're not consciously making effort to make a change. So now we've got these mindsets, we've got this vision where we want to be. All right, now is time to start setting goals. We have to say, okay, well, what things need to happen in order for me to get to that point? So I'm living my life. This is, I've broken my life down a little differently. Where a lot of businesses especially are going to do things over a year's time. People do them over a year's time. At the beginning of the year, we have a New Year's resolution, all these things we want to accomplish. Then we, over the year, work towards those, or get rid of them. After following my good friend Brad Parker, who'd been doing this for a couple of years ago, he mentioned this thing to me called a 90-day sprint. And basically, it was based on this book, The 12-Week Year. And the idea, as I understood at the time, was that, okay, through massive time management and through goal setting, you're going to try and accomplish in 90 days what you would normally accomplish in a year. I was like, okay, well, that sounds kind of badass. 90-day period. What I have learned is that I'm going to put a lot more intensity when there's a shorter time frame on something. My energy level will go up to try and get these goals. I know I was getting near the end of my last 90-day sprint. I think I knocked out like 3 or 4 goals in the last week because I knew the clock was running out. One of which, quit smoking, which is pretty awesome. Been a couple of weeks. That's something I've been a smoker for 35 years. So it's been amazingly, once that was a goal, like it's been actually pretty easy. So let's talk about what kind of goals you've got to have. The chapter goes through a couple of different things. I remember my mentor, Greg Sands, teaching me a long time ago that like one of the difference between a goal and a dream is a goal's got to be measurable. It's got to be something that can be clearly defined. Can't be just this vague, I want to be rich. That's not a goal. That's a rich. I want to make $100,000 in the next 3 months. That's a goal. It's got to have a deadline. I want to be a millionaire. Okay, well, that's a good dream, and it's a good thing to aspire to be, I guess, from a financial health standpoint. But when do you want to be a millionaire by? It's got to be something that inspires you and that you are passionate about. Otherwise, it's very hard to get the energy and the focus that you need to hit a goal that you just have no interest in. For me, to have a goal of a dog that wins Best in Show at the National Westminster Abbey Dog Show probably not be a very good goal, because I really just don't care that much about, I love animals, love dogs, but I really am not real inspired by having the perfect example of a perfect dog breed, just for example there. The book goes through SMART goals, and maybe I'll put some stuff together on this, some hopefully helpful PDFs on it. But I think Jack does a great job all throughout the book. He's got some fantastic stories he weaves into things. One of my goals I will share with you is to make money doing some Amazon affiliate stuff. So I finally figured, after several days doing these videos, I finally figured out, I got approved, and I figured out how to actually get a link. So today in the description or in the comments, there should be a link for you to check out and hopefully buy a copy of this book. I've given this book to over a dozen people. It's been such a huge impact in my life. I remember when I first saw this book was actually in jail. Part of being a person in long-term recovery means that before that I was a person in long-term illness. And my illness is one that a lot of times includes jail time. And I got a chance to kind of reset my life and spend time reading a lot of books. And I went through this book the first time probably 5 years ago. And I did it a chapter a day then, kind of like I'm doing now. And then I did the different examples in there. I kind of followed through and I did the work. I remember carrying around, while I was in jail, this like little sheet. Had very little resources, but had a sheet of paper with his handwritten notes, what my vision was. I used to read that thing 3 times a day, because that's one of the suggestions in the book. Once you write your goals down, read them 3 times a day. That's something I realized until I read the chapter again today, that's something I'm not doing. I have my goals on a big whiteboard. I'm looking at them right now. I've got 3 whiteboards covered with goals right now. And I look at them every morning several times. When I get up and do my morning routine, I'm seeing these goals. But it also talks about the importance of sharing your goals, which is something I did my first 90-day sprint. I'm working on another success principle right now of kind of keeping things closer to the vest. So I haven't shared the same way, but I need to find an accountability partner that I am going to share with, because I'm trying to practice some more discernment. I'm trying to practice a lot of things, really, if I'm just being honest. But I do need to find somebody to share my goals with, somebody that I can count on, that is in my corner, that does want the best for me, that is not going to speak negatively about my goals, or somebody that I trust to give me criticism is probably actually more helpful. It's actually probably much more helpful if you can handle criticism, to find somebody that's going to be a truth teller. And that touches on a couple of things that a coach can do, I was thinking about this morning. I was taking a little walk outside, had an errand to run, and as a coach, I'm not a therapist. You sign up for coaching with me. This is not hour-long sessions for us to talk about your feelings. It's not an hour-long session for us to unpack your trauma and all the reasons why you're screwed up. That's what therapists are for. They go to school to listen and to ask the right questions and to help you discover those sort of things about yourself. That's not what I do as a coach. What my job is to help you be your best version of yourself. And so I'm going to take the lead a lot. I'm going to speak a lot more than a therapist does. We're going to come up with plans. We are going to figure out resources. We are going to talk about what we're doing in a real, honest way. I'm going to tell you the truth about what's going on. I'm not going to sometimes sugarcoat it. You may not like me all the time. That's okay. I'm not here to be liked by you. What I'm here for is to help you live the most amazing life possible. And that's not for everybody. It is, you have to have a certain amount of grit and this just willingness to do whatever it takes if you want to live an amazing life. Not everybody wants to live. A lot of people are very content with mediocre lives, and that's you. Hey, and you hear something from me and you like it. I love it. I love that you, please take all the free stuff you can get. But if you're serious about doing something and doing it as fast as possible and really setting aggressive goals that push you and make you uncomfortable and make you feel like quitting to the point that you absolutely need somebody in your corner to push you, then I might be the guy for you. I hope you like these videos. Please follow, comment, DM me, coach, if you want to talk. If you want to work one-on-one, let's set up a time to talk. Thanks.